I want to be clear about it all. I want to be clear with my co-stars and all the rumors that you've heard about me throughout my life. It's time to let's just be clear.
Yeah, Shannen Doherty made good on that clarity promised when she launched her podcast in November 2023 by having some very frank and revealing conversations with her former 90210 co-stars. And now, after Saturday, those co-stars are dealing with the grief of Shannon's passing and how to express that publicly. Jason Priestley was the first 90210 co-star to appear on Shannon's Let's Be Clear podcast. He was on episode 8.
You were sort of deemed the quarterback by Aaron.
Yep.
The two discussed the role that Jason was forced to play surrounding Shannon's firing from the series after season 4.
So you sort of did have to do some quarterbacking in that area with a cast who, a good majority of them felt very passionately about not waiting around for me.
Yeah.
Shannon was showing up late to set almost every single day, which delayed everyone, and wasn't really being clear on the reasons for that late arrival, which did include an allegedly abusive marriage and a very sick father.
It was incredibly difficult, and I wish that I would have known more about what was happening in your personal life at the time, because I could have hopefully managed it with more compassion and more caring.
Yeah.
But we only knew what we knew.
When Jason knew of Shannon's passing on Saturday, he decided to write publicly on Instagram, "Shocked and saddened to hear about the passing of my friend Shannon. She was a force of nature, and I will miss her. Sending love and light to her family in this dark time."
Today I have on, I'm not even going to say former co-star. I'm going to say my favorite co-star from 90210, Brian Austin Green. Hi.
Hi.
What's up, Bag?
Chillin'.
Brian Austin Green was next on the podcast in March for episode 15. Back in December, Shannon revealed to GMA that Brian and Ian were two co-stars that were truly caregivers following her cancer diagnosis.
You know, Brian and I always sort of had a bond, and those two check in on me constantly. They are always sending me text messages. Do you need us for anything? Do you need me to do anything for you? I think that that's how you show up for somebody, right? Is that by truly wanting for that person to be doing well.
On Sunday, Brian posted a note on his Instagram that said, "Shan, my sister, you love me through everything. You're a big part of my understanding of love. I'll miss you more than I know how to process right now. Thank you for the gift of you." And on Monday, Brian put on his Instagram story, "A good friend sent me this today, a picture from when we were in Vancouver filming the reboot." Ian has not said anything on social media yet, because of course he's actually grieving. But fans don't have time for that. They want to post and they want it now. So yeah, on Ian's last post, which was on Thursday, 2 days before Shannon's death, people are blasting him in the comments for not acknowledging Shannon's passing yet. On Sunday, Tori Spelling posted a photo of her and Shannon and wrote, "I don't have outward words yet, but we knew, and that's what matters." As in, she and Shannon knew how they felt about each other. But yeah, this is almost like a placeholder saying to people, don't come for me, just give me a minute, which is crazy that celebrities have to do that. But yeah, on Monday, about 36 hours after Shannon's passing, Tori did a full post on Instagram writing, "F them," is what Shannon would say if I told her I felt pressure to have to summarize via social media a 36-year friendship and the grief I feel for a fire whose flame went out too soon. Tori was actually the third 90210 alum to be on Shannon's podcast in April. And yeah, the two definitely found some clarity after their tumultuous friendship.
1 minute we were friends, and then 1 minute we weren't.
Yeah.
Tori continued in her post, "I was 15 when Shannon and I met. I was the boss's daughter, Tori Spelling, the creator of 90210, with no voice, and she was the star with a big voice."
From my perspective, as I was looking in, now being an outsider, I saw that you were swayed by two certain individuals, and particularly one.
I'm a swear.
Huh?
I'm a swear.
Yeah. Yes.
My downfall. Yeah.
Yeah. You were always easily swayed.
Yeah.
She took me under her wing. She gave me the belief I had a voice and was worthy. We became fast best friends. We were each other's wing woman, true confidants, support systems, navigating bad relationships, roommates of sorts at times, travel buddies, and so much more. She always stuck up for me, always had my back, always believed in me when I didn't or couldn't believe in myself.
I always used to tell you, like, Tor, have an opinion. Like, you're smart, you're funny, you're talented. I loved you and I respected you and I wanted you to believe in yourself as much as I believed in you.
We were young. We let a lot of outside and inside influences influence our friendship.
It was very frustrating for me.
In a world where we often don't get to make up the childhood friendships that form so much of the adult you become, we got that chance. I'm grateful Shannon and I got to go back in time as adult friends and remember why we truly loved each other to begin with, to reminisce, and to ironically laugh again like we used to. No one can make me laugh like that. Core laughs. She was a rebel in an era when most women didn't feel comfortable being strong. She never tried, she just was. She empowered sexiness, strength, 2 F's given, empathy, and all topped off with wicked humor. Her sardonic humor was one of my faves, and no one made a Frito pie like Shan. Shan, I'll carry the torch on, take on my power, and I'll stay rebellious for you. Love you with all my heart, always.
Jennie, you said that Tori often had to be the mediator between you and Shannen. What's the worst fight you and Shannen ever got into?
Oh, jeez.
Jennie Garth wrote on Sunday, I'm still processing my tremendous grief over the loss of my longtime friend Shannen, the woman I've often described as one of the strongest people I've ever known. Our connection was real and honest. We were so often pitted against each other, but none of that reflected the truth of our real relationship, which is one built on mutual respect and admiration. During a 90210 panel at Steel City Comic-Con in April, Jennie jumped at the chance to answer an audience member's question, which was directed at anybody in the cast, as to what they would like to see happen with the story if they picked up right where they left off.
I would want Brenda to come back to the show. I do mean that because we've had the great honor of watching the show back for the podcast, I've become such a fan, and just like when Brenda left the show, something left with it, and I miss it as a fan of the show. So.
Jennie concluded her post on Sunday. She was courageous, passionate, determined, and very loving and generous. I will miss her and will always honor her deeply in my heart and in my memories. My heart breaks for her family and Bowie and all the people who loved her. Shannen and Jennie were among the 90210ers who were scheduled to be at 90s Con in Florida in September, which Gabrielle Carteris promoted on Friday. Upon learning of Shannen's death a day later, Gabrielle posted this poignant picture of the sky with the caption, "So young, so sad. May you rest in peace, Shannen. I know Luke is there with open arms to love you." That would be a reference to Luke Perry, who passed away in 2019 from a stroke. Of course, Luke and Shannen's characters, Dylan and Brenda, were arguably the staple couple of 90210, and Shannen's going to argue that in just a second. But before that, I was just going to say that doing these in memoriam segments with Shannen proved to be very complex, very eye-opening, and very difficult, in the sense that the very general narrative I had about Shannen was that she was a bitch. Like, that's the easiest word to say. She was a bitch. And yet, as I gathered materials for this segment, which I just thought was going to be, a very basic, here's some reaction from celebrities about her death. That's not what I was gathering at all. So yeah, instead of one straightforward segment, this has turned into 3 segments that are going to add up to like 20 minutes of content. Shannen wasn't a saint, but also wasn't the total nightmare, difficult personality that she's painted to be either. On that note, Shannen did have some fun with an audience member at that Steel City Comic-Con in April. Rest in peace, Shannen.
Like the Brenda, Kelly, Dylan storyline, for example, when I was that age, I was like, very Dylan, Brenda. But when I look back, I'm like,
Be careful.
She's even more
I
so
will get
Brenda
up
Dillon.
from my seat. That is the most sacred relationship ever. And she was a whore, you guys. This was my best friend who slept with my boyfriend. Shame on you.